This summer, the spirit of sportsmanship will come to Paris, and we at DLP welcome its values. Values like friendship, respect, and excellence. And just like the Games, we also promote inclusivity, diversity, equality, and mobility, like our recent Yoga by Disney and 5K Fun Run 2024 edition. That's why we've also created Games at Disneyland Paris, a 2-day quest on June 26 and 27 that celebrates fans of all backgrounds. 12 selected participants who will go head-to-head in 2 teams of 6 as their Disney knowledge and puzzle-solving skills are tested in fun challenges. All admissions, meals, and accommodation will be taken care of by Disney, and everybody is invited to take part, as long as you are an influencer, European, speak French and English perfectly, and are well fit. The Disneyland Paris Quest 2024 is a chance to show how greatness can be achieved in harmony with fellow fans, and will make great social media material to hype the parks to prospective visitors who are coming for the Games in Paris. Come and visit our parks during the summer, including Disneyland Park with its magical castle and Walt Disney Studios with Avengers Campus plus some other attractions. Remember, if you like spectacular events in a magical setting, pushing your physical limits on hot days, large crowds, long queues, and elevated ticket, food, and accommodation prices, you can also find these at Disneyland Paris. We champion the same core principle as the Games, so please, this summer, also visit DLP. It's only an RER train ride at triple the usual price away. Seriously, please come.
Terms and conditions apply, subject to availability, followership, and likability. This video was not created by or is in any way affiliated to DLP, nor was any AI used in the making of it. Hello, this is episode 196 of the Dedicated to DLP podcast. We are creeping ever closer to our 200th episode. Hey, that alone should be worth a medal, am I right? I'm your host, Beth, and I'm joined as usual these days by my banter buddy, Mark.
Yep, we're still here and broadcasting out into the wild, collecting the latest news, views, and listener feedback from around and within the parks. Stick around to the end, because that's how the algorithms think that we are interesting. You don't actually have to watch or listen, just let it play out in the background.
Fair enough, but people can actually just keep listening because we have content worth listening to.
And I promise not to make any bad dad jokes or snarky comments for that matter. So in fact, you will have up to 30% less of me in this episode, as I'm down here in Greece with 35 degrees. So I'm not going to make an effort. How's your climate, Beth? What can we expect on this episode?
We're not getting out of this by talking about the weather. I do not believe we're going to get through a whole episode with you not coming on hard with the dad jokes and the snark. I'll believe it when
Seriously,
I see
I'm going
it.
to make a huge effort on this one. on the not doing the dad jokes part.
Okay, yeah, okay. Like I said, I'll believe it when it is before my eyes. As for what's coming up on this episode, my shirt has a little hint on it.
Wonderful. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, a little nod to it.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing a deep dive into one of my personal favorite segments, the Love Our Listeners. Maybe it's going to inspire us to create a new segment. I don't know. To be discussed.
All right.
A lot's on the table this time.
I just realized that I am bounding like Alice. We're color coordinated. I just need blonde hair.
Aw, that's true. I could see you with like a little wig with the curls and a little hairband.
She doesn't have curls.
I don't know. What?
No. She has wavy hair.
No, she's just waves. She has waves and curls. Gee, Mr. Fashion over here. All right.
We're not saying that Alice shouldn't have curls. I don't mind, if you're identifying as curly. I know there's nothing against that, especially if your name is Alice. Alice with curls is fine. I'm digging a hole here that I'm getting into it even further.
No, I'm just feeling worse and worse because of my lack of attention to the hairstyle of this iconic young lady. I'm sorry, Alice.
Yes, she is iconic. Shall we get into the news? Because it's quite a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still getting the hang of it, even after 196 episodes.
Thanks.
So I got my Disneyland Paris mug this time.
I love the commitment.
It's water. It's not tea. It's too hot for tea. Anyway, Alice and the Queen of Hearts, Back to Wonderland, which we shall henceforth refer to as the Alice Show, because as much as we love Disneyland Paris Department of Asset Nomenclature, some names are quite voluminous and ain't got no time for that. So where were we? Oh yes, Alice and the Queen of Hearts, Back to Wonderland, finally officially landed at the Theatre of the Stars, presented by EDF, open air show venue over in Walt Disney Studios. You may recall that we were unfortunately unable to attend the Press Inside Ears premiere on May 18th, and we have also been unable to visit DLP since it opened on May 25th.
Yeah, that makes us the prime podcast on how to save money at Disneyland Paris.
Right, by not being able to actually go to Disneyland Paris.
Exactly.
But if you are super fans, you will either have already made the trip yourself or watch one of the many, many videos made by other fan accounts or released by DLP. However, there was one very interesting element I picked up on. Remember our illustrious April 1st episode in which we had Stuart from DLP Tips for Irish join us in a faux review, shall we say, of the yet unseen Alice show? Well, he has actually been and seen it. So please follow his accounts for those valuable insights. But I chatted with him following that, and we both came to the conclusion that our imagined vision of what the show would be like, however utterly bonkers ours was, in fact came quite close to how the show turned out. So it was basically utterly bonkers.
Well, to be fair, that's kind of how DLP described it in the initial press releases. And so we just kind of picked up on that vibe and ran with it.
True. And obviously they didn't include songs by Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion. However, we had suggested one track which might have gone well with it. And here's a short clip as a reminder from that show. This is the moment. All the BMX bikes are coming out and there's flying over the stage, and there's like acrobats in the air, there's an aerial acrobats, and it's just amazing. And it's like fireworks going off and smoke machines and lasers.
That was an instant classic.
Mm-hmm. Well, I listened to the song sung by the Queen of Hearts, and I heard something rather familiar. Take a listen to this.
Okay, what am I supposed to be hearing?
It's very sneaky, but listen to those keyboards again.
All right, maybe the light is dawning. Tell me, help me out here.
Here's what that reminded me of. So that, my dear friends, was from Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who.
Okay, so you're saying that the composer from Alice and the Queen of Hearts, Back to Wonderland,
the Alice show,
would be, okay, listen to our April 1st fake preview and then got inspired to include an homage to The Who?
I don't know, but it would be very coincidental.
I would love that for us. It would make us influencers.
I prefer creative consultants if Disney would like to contractually engage us for future shows. But do you have any other impressions about the show to share?
Well, I have been prowling around the various YouTube videos, especially some of the very hardcore American Disney vloggers, some of who don't get to Paris super often, and also some of the hardcore folks from around here.
Were they jealous?
And I'm noticing, the reviews, I'm going to say, have been positive in the sense that they're using adjectives: dynamic, energetic, surprising, in one case, gritty, but nobody actually says the word good. I'm just pointing that out.
These are words and adjectives that they have chosen themselves. They are not AI generated.
Exactly. These seems to be the kindest words that people are able to use to put like a positive spin on it. But I'm not seeing anything like somebody coming out and say, this is a great show, a great addition. Mostly there's a lot of head scratching. People are finding the BMX bikes don't really tie in with anything is a major complaint. Even leaving the rest of the show alone. Why the bikes?
It was fun. One of our listeners was actually commenting on the fact that having listened to our April 1st show, she thought that the BMX things were completely made up and was shocked to find out that no, they're actually in the show.
Yeah, some of the weirdest things that we put in there are actually there. So
bouncing acrobatics is all in there. Yes, they're using the whole space for the BMX bikes. The setup is there. You have the song contest between Alice and the Queen of Hearts, and there's video projections as well. Lots of color, lots of movement, pyrotechnics. What else was there? Smoke. Lighting. It's all there. Is it a coherent show? I can't tell you yet because I haven't seen it as a whole in the place itself. But it's definitely energetic.
Dynamic, surprising, and gritty.
And we are the only park that has it. So that's something, I guess. If you have a huge space like that and you need to fill it somehow, I think this is a good way of doing it. Is
it
original.
The best way?
It's original. I haven't seen anything like it anywhere else. Definitely not in a Disney park. I think, you have to see it for yourself to make up your mind. And we haven't yet, so we can't give an opinion legally.
Legally, I love that. One interesting detail is that the main centerpiece of the whole thing is the voting on who's won the song contest, Alice or the Red Queen. And so the public gets to vote, and you're giving flags, and you vote by raising your red or your blue flag. And these are apparently given out to the public, and you have to return them at the end, just like your 3D glasses for Ratatouille. Well, in the past,
that
Ratatouille went
used
to 2D,
to be a thing. Yes.
But anyway, used to be.
Dear listeners, Ratatouille is no longer 3D.
No, it is not.
To wear 3D glasses.
Star Tours.
Star Tours. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Until they make that 2D as well.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's a lot of people to be fussing around with that many fiddly objects and getting them returned. It's it's a whole thing.
So is somebody standing there counting the flags to decide who has won?
I don't have information on that. I've just seen the comments where people just say it's like a lot of people and a lot of flags, and maybe this is not the best venue to be doing this sort of thing. Just saying. But we need to go see. We need a sponsor.
Definitely.
Have a sponsored trip to go see Alice in her show. I'm a fan.
The theater is sponsored by EDF, so EDF, if you're listening and you want us to go and review it. What's up next?
Okay. Well, if you have been able to go to that show and you were like at the top of the risers, you can have a clear view of the ongoing expansion work going on around Adventure Bay.
Exactly.
Have you seen some of the latest video coming out of Walt Disney Studios' future? I mean, it is crazy. It's just
I've seen
long
pictures,
corridors
yes.
of walls.
Oh, that's yes. So basically, if you're going to Walt Disney Studios now, a lot of construction work going on, which means they have to put up walls so that you don't see the construction work. And it starts at the entrance. It starts at Studio One. And you have to go in.
It's very confining.
Yes.
Very confining.
Well, they should have turned that into an Alice maze. There you go.
There.
Disneyland Paris. My consultancy fees are very affordable.
I love that. Yeah, turning a negative into a positive. Because it looks really, I'm not going to say dystopian, but it is not great. The big US vlogger Paging Mr. Morrow was on a super recent trip. I think this vlog was just from a couple days ago. And it was confounding, that place. It is like being in some kind of bad maze. And he seemed rather confused on what was actually being built.
It's a massive expansion that they're putting together. As you can see, this is going to be it way back here. And are we also getting a Star Wars land here? Doesn't that look like a Star Wars land? It looks like Galaxy's Edge almost. Holy moly, they might be doing a massive expansion. Yeah, because like we are right here. We're right here, so this is actually going to take it all the way back and kind of look like an Epcot like lagoon style. And it's going to be Arendelle back there. That's really going to be huge. Holy moly.
Huh.
I wonder if the communication of Disney's parks is really getting out there, because he's a pretty major vlogger. I mean, he was just in Tokyo recently. I mean, he really gets around, and he seemed to have no clue what was going on at the studios, and nobody was enlightening him.
So he's probably seen the concept art of the Frozen Land and the Walt Disney Studios expansion.
Yeah.
But that might be the old one that still has the Star Wars land.
And some of the ones he showed that were like up near where he was going in past Studio One were very vague, and you didn't even see, it wasn't clear what the lake was. If you know it's what the lake is, but otherwise it just looks like a dark patch on the poster.
This is interesting.
If you don't know what you're looking at, it's very unclear.
We're all like conscious of the fact that there's going to be a lake. But even if concept art still isn't showing a proper lake, then...
It was just very vague, and it could have been interpreted as... He was interpreting it as just off the picture, I think. Just sort of... It was not clear.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, hopefully in August we'll know more. And American bloggers and vloggers will be enlightened by what's going on there, but it is true. And I think that's not so much the issue. I think the issue is that Walt Disney Studios, in the state that it is in, a lot of people don't know that it's in that state. So visitors coming from abroad, visitors coming from Australia, and finding this half park, half, what is it? I mean, that's why I'm calling it
20% of a park.
Avengers Campers Plus. That's what I'm calling it.
Yeah. It is rough. I would feel so bad for people if they're really coming for some kind of once in a lifetime look at Disneyland Paris. I feel bad for them, and I feel fine. I know, but you're still missing out. I think the park as it is, I mean, I know we're suffering to have it better in the end, and it's good for us. But I do feel like there are people coming from other countries, a lot of them because of the Olympics. And this might be their one look at the Disneyland Paris resort. And the studios is looking really rough.
I think they should make the WDS half price. That's what I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For this period, at least, because you're not getting everything, you know, and it's not fair, basically.
No.
Or throw it in with
Throw it in.
people
Yeah.
buying the one park. Okay,
Yeah.
take WDS. Oh, great! Then you can't complain about it because you got it for free.
Exactly. That would be my solution to this problem. Turn it into like a little goodwill gesture instead of having people feel like they've been a bit ripped off.
But
Because
you
there
do
are
get the
things
new
worth
Alice
seeing.
show
Yes.
and Cars
I
Road
don't-
Trip. That's still working.
The way this man's face fell when he went to Cars Road Trip and he was expecting something like Radiator Springs in the California park.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that brought a tear to the eye, really. a little disappointment.
But yes, so just anybody listening who's wondering what's going on there, we're going to get Frozen Land, and that's kind of going up now. There are some of the little Norwegian type houses on the edge of the bay that are starting to take shape and color. The mountain is going up as well, concrete, of course, but that's rising. And it's actually going quite fast, apparently. A lot of people are quite surprised by the speed at which it's going finally, because it has been delayed. And then there's the Rapunzel spinner ride, the kind of the lantern teacup style attraction. That is got a canopy over it as well already. And the Art Deco restaurant, which is progressing quite nicely as well. So again, we have no information about what date all of this is going to open, if it's going to open all together at the same time, or if it's going to be in sections. D23, the big expo of Disney, is happening in Anaheim in August. So we'll wait and see. And that's not the only developments progressing in and around DLP. And here comes another press release segment, which you all love. Disneyland Paris and the Department of Seine-et-Marne renew their cooperation agreement. The renewal was signed on June 1st by Natasha Rafalski, president of Disneyland Paris, and Jean-François Parigi, president of the Department of Seine-et-Marne. That's the area, the local community in which Disneyland Paris is based. It aims to create and consolidate a common approach on subjects such as the attractiveness of the territory, employment, training, professional integration, and environment and sustainable development. Housing and transport, both an essential tourist destination, a major economic site and employment area, Disneyland Paris plays an important role in the development of the Val d'Europe region. One of the key elements of this success is in particular the ever closer cooperation with local authorities, as evidenced by this agreement between Disneyland Paris and the Department Council of Seine-et-Marne. A lot of words, and it doesn't actually say a lot, but I'm going to come back to that. It illustrates the pursuit of a constructive relationship for the benefit of the territory, its inhabitants, and its businesses. So this is a long-term program which includes promoting employment and professional integration through training projects and also urban development in the Val d'Europe region. As you may know, the Walt Disney Company is closely involved in the local development, and they signed, when they started building Disneyland Paris, there was an agreement that they should develop the surrounding areas. So there was absolutely nothing before, and now there's like huge Ceris, Val d'Europe, shopping center and offices and living quarters. It's not Disney living per se, but it's still important to the region. And Disneyland Paris has a close hand in it, in having also urban planning and stuff like that. So the press release goes on to say, to celebrate this cooperation agreement between Disneyland Paris and the Department of Seine-et-Marne, 100 young people from child welfare had the opportunity to spend a day at Disneyland Paris on Saturday, June 1st. Young people aged 6 to 18 from homes in Meaux, Rubel, and Provence. Provence? It's not Provence. Attended the new show offered by Disneyland Paris, Alice and the Queen of Hearts Return to Wonderland.
Well, I think that's really nice. I wonder what the kids thought about that.
Yes, I guess we may never know.
In general, I think they do a really good job. I think that area around the parks has been developed enough, but it's not like overdeveloped and tacky looking. It's very tasteful,
Yeah.
but there's still plenty of services, plenty of shops, plenty of restaurants, even once you get, off property. The offerings for hotels and housing are really good. NC Conciergerie has lots of great places for rent.
Nice plug. Nice one.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's true. There's lots of areas adjacent to theme parks that look a lot worse. They've kept it pretty classy.
Yeah.
I have to hand that to them.
Yes, and I have to say, I could imagine myself living in that area because it's nicely done. There are some nice eateries around. As I said, the shopping center is fully equipped with all kinds of things that you may need. There's park area. Kids can play in, there's skate parks and stuff like that. So it's nicely done. So I think it's quite good that they're keeping a hand in developing it, so to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very telling that, both of us, people with families, could see themselves living there. It's not some kind of dystopian nightmare. It's really, really nice and pleasant. And yeah.
Yes. And
I love
still French because they have a great patisserie there. So yes.
Yes. Must have.
One of the most important things.
Okay. So last but not least on the news lineup, buckle up, people, mobile check-in, digital Magic Pass, and digital keys. Okay, these are new services offered in the Disneyland Paris mobile app for Disneyland hotel residents. So you can now prepare your stay and enjoy Disney parks upon arrival without going through the reception. So you have a digital journey to take, I am told, on the Disneyland mobile application. What a journey. Okay,
I don't
features.
need to make the dad jokes. They're right there in the press release.
Mobile check-in. You're going to save time by completing the check-in from 7 days before and up to the day before your arrival. And that'll simplify it when you get there. Don't have to worry about it.
In theory.
Then, in theory, if everything's working well, no glitches, please. Digital Magic Pass. You can find your Disney park tickets, meal vouchers, if applicable, guest parking, and more on a unique QR code. It's your Magic Pass on the Disneyland Paris mobile app.
Okay.
And finally, the digital key. Staying at Disney Hotel New York Art of Marvel or Disneyland Hotel with the digital key, you can unlock your Disney hotel room and common area doors with your telephone.
Now that is useful.
Wow. What a world we live in.
Except, of course, when you've been in the park all day and your battery is dead. How do you get into your room then?
Yeah, that does sound kind of like me, actually.
They should be selling power banks in the boutique. Disneyland Hotel branded power banks. And
yeah.
Well,
Well, you can get them just in the entry of the park. Actually, I have used them before. It's very convenient.
Yes, that's true. But yeah, all good things because I am all for Disneyland, the Disneyland app gaining more capability. So this is a step in the right direction. How it works out in practice, we will have to see, of course. But I think that this is necessary because on the one hand, you don't want to queue up at the reception every time you arrive at the hotel. So if you can do your check-in and you've got your key on your phone and they'll tell you via the app, I'm assuming your room is number 2030, whatever, go to the room, leave your stuff, you bypass this whole check-in procedure. That would be excellent. You need the QR code with your Magic Pass for certain things like meals and so on. Also great. all we need now is that you should be able to enter the parks like that as well, which I'm not sure is possible yet. So that you could have like your ticket or the Magic Pass basically should be that, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
I've
yes.
used my phone before. Yeah.
So, yes,
it's
that's,
just
that's good. It's what?
Do you think they'll roll it out to the lesser hotels? So far, we only have it at the top two. And I think it could save people a lot of tears at Cheyenne and Santa Fe, which can get quite busy.
So I think
so
technology
nice.
is the deciding factor there. The
Okay.
Art of Marvel,
The doors,
Disneyland
yeah.
Hotel have had the most recent refurbishments. And
Yeah.
so I think they, with a bit of foresight, they were able to include this technology in the doors.
Okay.
Now, we know at some point Sequoia Lodge is going to have a refurbishment,
Yeah.
so maybe that's going to
That'll be
come
next
there.
up, maybe.
And otherwise, I think, they would have to put some kind of new locks on the doors
Yeah.
of existing hotels, and that would be possible. But then again, some people, they like having that door key card as a souvenir.
Yeah.
But I think that should still be possible because, as I said, if your phone is dead, then there has to be some other way of still getting into your room. So you still have to go to the reception and pick up a key card or something like that. Or maybe for a big family,
Yeah.
can you share that with everybody else? If everybody has the application and then logs in, should be possible. If you've tried
I
this
think
out,
so.
let us know, and we'll read out your experience on the show.
Yeah. This is yet another nail in the coffin of the idea that we would ever get magic bands at Disneyland Paris.
No, I don't
mean,
think so.
I
I
always-
think it's a
I knew
step
it was
in
a
that
no, but-
direction. I think that's
Oh, really?
maybe it's a stepping stone. So let's try this out with people's mobile phones first, and then see how well it works, and then we can introduce the magic bands. That's what I think.
I mean, not having magic bands, Disney's leaving money on the table. People love those. They like to have the different styles, the different colors.
Go to any Taylor Swift or Coldplay concerts, you get those magic bands, and they work flawlessly as a visual. What is it? The lights are coordinated, and they work fabulously for doing that stuff. So
All
it's
right.
just a little chip enhancement away to
Yeah.
actually get it to open doors and stuff.
All right. I won't give up hope then, Mark, but I hope you're not leading me in the direction of yet another heartbreak. But
I would never do that. No.
all right. I'll keep hope alive. And I guess we can move on because I think it is time for another edition of Love Our Listeners.
Let's do that then.
Easy listening for the easy listeners.
Incidentally, I watched Deadpool 1 with my son yesterday. It's interesting that that's on the Disney roster, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of edgy.
It's gritty and surprising, and what were the other adjectives?
Dynamic and energetic.
No, it's fun, and I love Ryan Reynolds, and I can't wait to
Yeah.
see what he and Hugh Jackman do together in Deadpool and Wolverine. That's going to be a fun ride. And I'm not sure that's ever going to be a fun ride or an attraction at the parks, because how are you going to market that to a family-friendly audience? But there you go. We love you, Wade Wilson. Now, I know you have an interesting letter to discuss, but I wanted to rewind a bit and mention an oversight.
Oh boy, is this another pardon my French apology segment coming up here?
Yes, well, kind of.
Pardon.
All right then, spill the beans or the haricots. if you will, then, Mark.
Les haricots verts, you spill them. Well, this should have been in a previous edition of Love Our Listeners, since it was something sent in to us, but in my defense, it didn't involve a question or a trip report. So that's where my oversight came in. It was simply a wonderful little package sent to us by one of our beloved listeners. And I shall refer to her as Agent C because we've mentioned her before. Somebody who has stayed at the Disneyland Hotel and had certain opinions about it and reported back to us about it. We will not go down that route again. But she was very kindly sending us some stickers, including Disneyland Hotel stickers and stamps. And this wonderful coin here, and I don't know if I can bring it up to you there. Now, let me bring it closer to the camera. How cool is that?
That's nice.
And on the other side, there's France. So this is a little collectible coin here for the listeners on our podcast that I'm showing on our YouTube video. And you can't use it to pay for anything, but it's just really beautiful. And I just wanted to say thank you very much. We very much appreciate it. And as soon as I get together with Vanessa and Beth, I will be distributing the various goodies that you sent to us. And we're very happy and very honored about that. So let's continue with our Love Our Listeners. Who's next? I know who's next. I wanted to give a little shout out, didn't I? Yes. There's another listener / follower from Sweden, Ada, called Victor. Hello, Victor. He lives with his husband, Brian, and their utterly cute corgi, Ruth, in Stockholm. And it sounds like they're planning a trip to DLP next year, as Victor asked me if we knew when Disneyland Paris opens the bookings for April 2025. Now, we could usually go by previous years and say, well, it's usually around this time. But if you look on the Disneyland Paris website, it still shows that bookings are open until March 2025. So you can book something until the end of March 2025, but not in April yet. And what I told Victor is that this is a bit of an odd year for DLP because we have all those works going on at Walt Disney Studios, as we discussed before, which at some point in the future will become Disney Adventure World. And we don't know any opening dates for those new lands yet. So our best guess is that there may well be some kind of announcement at D23 in August, and hopefully with a clearer picture of dates, then the April and beyond window will be opened up. So we'll keep an eye and an ear open for that. And as soon as we'll know and see some movement there, we'll let you know.
Absolutely. Tack så mycket to Victor.
Bra.
Thank you. I love getting to know our listeners, especially from the great white north above us. And now we have another listener to get to know, another dedicated fan, Ulrich. I was delighted to see this letter in our mailbox just a couple days ago, and I can share it with you guys. Dear dedicated to DLP team, first of all, a huge thank you for your podcasts. I'm always looking forward to them and enjoy them immensely, especially if they're aired on April 1st. Mm-hmm. So, okay, here it is. I have a question, and I'm aware it may be strange, and you probably cannot help, but I'll try anyway. For 10 plus years, I've been to DLP almost every year, always with my partner. This year, I sadly would have to go alone. So here comes my strange question. Do you know of a way, Facebook, to reach out to other Disney fans and ask if they are in the park at the same time and would like to meet up in the park? Not staying together in a room or anything like that. Just meet up and spend the day or part of the day together and enjoy the park. I hope to hear from you and keep up the good work. Ulrich. Great letter, right?
Very nice.
Oh.
Hello. We
yes,
have
liked it too.
A cat visitor on our show.
I thought you were busy. No, she's going to be on the podcast. Anyway, so this got me thinking, right?
Yes.
Because It's not a strange question at all.
Your cat is muffling your microphone, just so you know.
Sorry. Go away, little Emmy. You're a good girl. Okay, now no cat on the microphone. Anyway, so first of all, this is not strange at all, and this happens to lots of people on their own in the parks. Maybe it could be something we could help him with, Mark, don't you think? I think
so. We're all about connecting people here on the show, aren't we?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Mouse Match, DLP Park Pals.
DLP Park Towels?
Park Pals.
Oh, pals.
Like buddies.
I'm
pals.
sorry. Something wrong with my headphones.
No, I probably have cat fur in mine now. Sorry.
DLP Park Pals, yes.
Anyway, it remains nameless. But I did write back to Ulrich right away and was like, no, it's not strange at all. Mm-hmm. Give me a few more details about you, and maybe we'll find you a park pal.
Oh, that's great. So we can present him on the show, basically.
Yes,
and other listeners listening who are also thinking of going alone can say, oh, this sounds like somebody I would like to hook up with and go around the parks with.
Exactly. And I love how thorough Ulrich was.
Yes.
I love his park style. And I don't know, he just puts it all out there. Let me share it with you.
Yeah.
Hello, Beth. Thank you so much for writing back. I'm relieved to hear my question is not as strange as I thought. I'd love to give you more details. I'm 49, going on 50, and live in Switzerland, the German-speaking part. I speak German, English, and a bit of French, which is embarrassing since we learned it in school for 3 years. The following meme a friend recently sent me describes me relatively well. I'm at that age where my mind still thinks I'm 29, my sense of humor suggests I'm 12, whilst my body mostly keeps asking if I'm sure I'm not dead yet. Okay. And later on, we have Instagram and everything, but that's for later. If we find Ulrich a park pal,
yes,
I'll give some details on this stay.
Park pal.
My next stay at DLP will be from September 24th to the 27th.
Yes.
Okay.
So
now,
you're still going to be able to
details.
see Alice and the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah, obviously that is a priority.
Why do I keep saying the full title? I said we were going to call it The Alice Show. Sorry.
The Alice Show. No, I guess it has a certain ring to
Catchy,
it.
Isn't it? Yes.
Magnetic.
Like l'aventure totalement toquée de Ratatouille.
Exactly. Rolls off the tongue. Okay. Now, to give you an idea of what would be in store if you hung out with Ulrich for a little bit, I've got a list of kind of his must-dos, his kind of park style.
Do's and don'ts.
Yeah, well, kind of. Okay. The way I like to spend my days in the park is a mixture of going on rides, but also leisurely walking through, soaking up the atmosphere. Love that.
Yeah.
In my favorite 2 areas of the park, Adventureland and Frontierland. Strolling through Boot Hill, the caves and bridges of Adventureland. Oh, wait, he doesn't mention Fort Comstock. What? All right. All right.
You're not hanging with him. I'm joking, Ulrich. I'm joking.
Okay. Oh, visiting the treehouse. That's really good. And the area around Cowboy Cookout, etc. And of course, strolling through the arcades and Main Street itself. There's so many amazing details there. Eddie Sato is a genius. Totally agree. Obviously, we have a real park nerd here, people. So This is somebody you can do those deep dives with. This is great. If a ride has a very long wait time, I'd rather go on to the next ride. I like to check back later. Usually there's always a chance to find a time when it's not so busy. I'd say that it is about 1/4 enjoying the atmosphere and eating and 3/4 going on rides. At each stay, I also dedicate a part of one of the days for shopping, not necessarily buying stuff, apart from pins, but browsing. So that's fun. I like a good window shop.
Yes.
Concerning eating, this is important. Okay. I like to eat a good breakfast at the hotel and combine lunch and dinner in a meal around 3:00 in one of the table restaurants. At the moment, I have a reservation for Waltz, Silver Spur, and Pim's. Okay, that's a pretty
nice
choice.
Collection there. Yes.
I like all those. Favorite rides in the park. This is always an insight into somebody's personality, all right? Pirates of the Caribbean, Phantom Manor, Big Thunder Mountain. Okay, that covers a lot of territory. Oh, and here we go. Buzz Lightyear, Star Tours, although I get frustrated if the same or near same sequences come 2 times in a row, which seems to happen relatively often.
Oh, okay.
Favorite rides in the soon-to-be Disney Adventure World, Spider-Man Web Adventure, and Ratatouille. All right. Let's see. I do all the rides, including Small World, Le Pays des Contes Faits, Carousel, etc., at least once, with the exception of Hyperspace Mountain, AC Racers, and Avengers Assemble Flight Force. I sometimes think my brain is still at the start of the ride, trying to figure out where the rest of the body went so fast.
So he doesn't do those rides.
He doesn't like those, yeah.
Right.
Because apparently he experiences a separation between mind and body, which, fair enough. That's a bit of a crazy ride. He says they're simply too wild for him. If there's any shows on, I also try to fit them in, especially Mickey and the Magician, which is my favorite show. Mm-hmm. And yes, also the Stitch live show. I love that, a fellow fan. At the end of the day, I usually enjoy the drones show. Really looking forward to Electrical Sky Parade.
Oh,
that will not disappoint. So good. So good. Afterwards, head back to the hotel ahead of the big crowd, where I end the day with a visit to Skyline Bar, where I enjoy 1 or 2 cocktails. That's a classic Vanessa move there. I hope this gives you a bit of feeling of how I spend my time at the park. I tried to structure it in a logical way and hope I didn't forget anything and it makes sense. If I did forget something or you think additional details would be of use, feel free to ask. And as for the April podcast, I haven't yet seen the YouTube version because I like to listen to you while I take walks. But I have seen the pictures you posted on X and Instagram, and it's amazing how much effort you put into it. Again, thank you very much. Best wishes, Ulrich. Yeah.
If you do watch any YouTube episode, I think that's the one to see.
That's the one to watch. Yeah.
Because it was entertaining even for us. So interesting. I like that. Thank you for all that information. And I have a suggestion to make to Ulrich and to others. If you want to hook up with somebody who is knowledgeable about the parks, Ulrich, you could kind of offer your services as a DLP guide, an unofficial one, obviously, but I think that this is a great way for people who have not been to DLP that much yet to have the park shown to them by somebody who knows, and the way to get around quickly and the best rides and places to eat and stuff like that. So that might be an angle to this Park Pals thing. Your cat just mauled a pork.
She's a handful. Emmy, you're starting.
Grab that pork like.
And my red panda is about to lose its life as well. All right.
Definitely wants to be part of the show.
Definitely.
Give more attention. Yes. So what do you think about that? Somebody who knows about the parks, and you have a small meetup, D2DLP meetup with somebody who hasn't been that often. And yeah, I'm not suggesting that any financial remuneration is exchanged here. It's just simply as a way of people getting together, enjoying the parks together, and one can show the different details and specialities of Disneyland Paris to somebody who doesn't know that much about it.
Well, whether you're a park newbie or somebody more experienced, if Ulrich sounds like somebody you'd like to hang out with, please contact us here and we will check it out and put you guys in contact. Pass
on the information.
We'll facilitate that. Yeah, exactly. We'll pass it on.
Important that you need to also write about yourself and what your preferences at DLP are, so that we can make a good match.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, maybe this will start a trend, Mark. Who knows?
Yeah. No, because it's true, because there are often people who go by themselves, And true, there are people who just like to enjoy it by themselves. But there are others who say, well, I don't want to go to a park by myself. Now you have a reason to go because you're actually going to be meeting somebody. And, if for whatever reason you want to have some time by yourself, you can. It's not like you're a family and you actually have to spend the whole day with each other.
No.
Let's see what we can
even just meeting up for a drink on Main Street or something.
Exactly.
I have to say, I have met up with people for various reasons, and some of them have been really cool. Like back in the day when you could get a discount on your AP. A random guy I'd met through Facebook met me, and he turned out to be a really cool elderly gentleman who'd personally met Walt Disney.
There you go.
And it was amazing.
So,
and I've just met some like really cool people, not to hang out with all day, but to have a drink with or talk with, or be 1 degree of separation away from Walt Disney.
And this does go on all the time because there are people who have podcasts or vlogs, and they will announce like, we'll be in the parks then and then. If you're there, just give us a shout. Or so I think this is definitely a thing.
Oh my gosh, Mark! Next time I go to the parks, maybe I'll have people meet me if they want to at Fort Comstock.
Fort Comstock get together.
Yeah, Fort Comstock. Just
Fort Comstock
guided
convention. Tour. There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. From a woman who almost wrote a book about it.
I commit to doing this.
And of course, you have to go to get some more material for the upcoming book, which is definitely going to happen at some point in the future.
Oh, exactly. I have been told by more than one person now that they would buy this 800-page book about Fort Comstock if I wrote it. So I don't know if I can come up with that much material, but by gosh, I will try.
Big fonts. There you go.
Exactly.
And large
35
pictures.
points.
I'll provide the pictures.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, then. This is a project.
Just getting close on the details of like the grain of the wood. This beam that was used is 200 years old.
Oh, yeah.
No, Disney wouldn't do that, would they? They wouldn't jump out at 200-year-old tree.
Anyway.
Fort Comstock. But yeah, nice. Thank you for sending that in.
Yes, thank you, Ulrich. That's great. And thank you, Victor. And thank you, everybody.
Yep. So I think that's the show for today. Have you got anything else that we should be discussing before our next episode in 2 weeks?
I don't think so. Just keep the letters coming. It's like Christmas when I open up our mailbox and I see a little message from listeners. Keeps us motivated, keeps us working hard. I'm glad to be back in the world of Disney. My big medieval fair is finished now. 60,000 people.
60,000 people.
Yeah. I told you about the big French medieval fair where I had to sing.
Yes, I know. I wasn't expecting that many people.
Yeah, I think I saw all of them. It was very tiring. Like Taylor Swift or something.
So even Taylor Swift doesn't meet all of them. She just
that's true. Yeah, that's true. It was a little bit more up close and personal. It was a good time, but I'm glad to be back watching all the Disney vlogs, reading those Disney press releases, even though sometimes they're maybe a little bit boring.
All right, guys. I think that's enough for today. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
And Beth is going to see us out.
Okay, everybody, thanks for tuning in to the D to DLP podcast. You may subscribe to the show on all those podcatchers. You got your Apple Podcast, you got your Spotify, you got your Questcaster. If you have a moment, please rate and review the show. That's important. It helps new listeners find out where we are. And you can follow our posts and get involved on our Instagram and on Facebook and see our podcast as well as hear it if you get on the YouTube. Bye.